I think it is so important that children know the story of the Holocaust, because I believe that in probably the next 10 years, all of the Holocaust survivors that are here right now will not be here anymore. And if we do not tell the story now, and if we do not tell the story in a way that children understand, they will never know. And if they don't know, then their children won't know, and their children won't know. And then what are we sort of making sure does not happen again? And so they need to know.
When I was back in grade 7, when I was being picked on for who I was, the person that I was trying to be, I was a Jewish student in a school with possibly 5 other Jewish kids, and kids felt that they might not even had anything against other religions. They just felt that making fun of them were funny. And I felt alone, I felt betrayed by my friends, and I felt there was no one I could really go to.
I was shocked that when my eldest son, Max, went to a public high school in Dundas, Ontario, he would come home distraught because he was facing anti-Semitism. In the early 2000s, that this would still be an issue is incomprehensible to me.
I luckily had a teacher who was there for me through it all, who was able to really help motivate me to make a difference, to break out of that shell that I was in, that these kids have put me in, because I didn't want to be known as the Jewish kid that everyone picked on. I wanted to be known as the kid who was proud to be who we wanted to be.
Difficult because it was a lot of he said, well, I didn't say that, or I didn't do this. And it was when I had the physical proof. I had students were drawing swastikas on your book, and I think on your chair. And I was able to sort of take that and run with it.
I was able to contact Margaret's Legacy in order to come in and educate my school on what the Holocaust was, the horrors of it, and kind of show them that why are we making fun of something that can't be changed.
And before going, we were aware that there was bullying going on, anti-Semitism going on in that school with a particular student, Max. And so Dan and I were prepared. And so when we talked about what we were going to do, well, the students were very, very tuned in. And when we started the presentation, we talked about racism, bigotry, and bullying and stuff like that. And we also talked about, have you been bullied? And we had students that gave their experiences, that Max was not alone. There were other situations, there were other students that had been bullied. And we also found out that there was a lot of students there that didn't really know when they were using terms, how hurtful these terms could be.
It's important that we use really clear language, because some of the students coming into these presentations may never have even heard the word Holocaust prior to attending.
Learned at the steps of the Holocaust and what happened to them, what it meant to be separated, what it meant to be in a death camp or a slave labor camp, came to life. It was real.
To the fact that we also as Africans were a group of people who were removed from what we knew to be our norm and our comfort, and brought into a completely different world, and forced and unfortunately violated in a way that no human being should ever experience ever again.
The Holocaust was a tragedy on such an immense scale, and the sheer number of people killed is really hard to conceptualize even for adults, let alone for children. Dana's use of the narrative of a single family, her own family, is extremely important because it allows the students to make a connection and empathize and really have that knowledge that behind every number was a real human being.
When watching the video that Margaret's Legacy showed to my school with Arthur being oppressed and being basically shut down for the person that he was because he was Jewish, but it showed in the video that throughout his oppression, throughout his life, he chose not to give up. He chose not to give in to what society around him was trying to portray. And I feel that gave me some motivation to show my school, to show that I was not going to be oppressed by them because of the person that I was.
I liked that it was a different way of talking about the Holocaust, and it gave them things to think about, and they liked that they were being empowered, and my classroom has never been the same since.
These students have come and felt like, I've understood now. I understand. I can understand racism, bigotry, or bullying, how hurtful it can be. And now with this presentation, it's given me a greater understanding and some, I think, personal strength to talk to other students about it.
If Max hadn't been a part of bringing Margaret's legacy to the school, I don't know if he would be where he is today just a few short years later. I don't deny that he would be an incredible leader. I think this gave him the push that he needed to become the person that he is becoming. I truly believe that Max's future will be a positive change maker. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I believe that is in his future, and I believe that Margaret's legacy was the starting point.
I feel that the way in which Margaret's legacy tells the story of the Holocaust was the perfect beginning to the curriculum. The material was presented to the children in a way that was very understandable, digestible, and palated.
Teachers are very pressed for time in general. They're having a very difficult time meeting ministry requirements. So teaching the Holocaust ends up sometimes being on the back burner.
And I think what is most difficult for teachers about putting social justice learning in their classes is I think people feel nervous a lot of the time that they don't have the knowledge, or that it's not part of the curriculum, or that they'll say something wrong. These are things that I've heard.
Had the opportunity to go to Pier 21 in Halifax to do an amazing Holocaust presentation. At that presentation, I met a wonderful educator named Colin McKenzie. The next day, I went to his school in Nova Scotia to do a presentation, and after the presentation, he said, I'd really love to help out with Margaret's legacy. What do you think I can do to help out? I thought about it, and I know how amazing he is as an educator, and I said, is there any way we could develop curriculum together? We've been working together for about a year, and now we have the Journeys curriculum developed and ready as of now to join the Margaret and Arthur's Story documentary, and I'm so thrilled that everything's organized and done.
What's honestly amazing about the Margaret's Legacy Journeys curriculum is that it doesn't just focus on the social studies aspect of the Holocaust. It also touches on other curricular objectives, such as media literacy, language arts, humanitarianism, and inquiry-based learning.
I teach a cultural track class in a Jewish day school, and the Margaret's Legacy Journeys didn't exactly fit our teaching objectives. And Margaret's Legacy was very, very accommodating to create a year-long curriculum that did fit our teaching objectives here at the Jewish day school.
So before we did the whole lesson with values, I didn't really know who I really was because I was doing a lot of things that I shouldn't be doing. But after we did the value lesson, it taught me a lot more valued skills like patience and a few other values that are very important to man. And it just changed my actions tremendously. Then I learned who I really was, and then I was able to work on that to change my actions.
The value-based expression that we're discussing in the curriculum is allowing children to realize that they have to act and think before they do anything. They have to be kind, and they have to be really good to other people.
We're listening to German composers. The next day we're looking at Marc Chagall's art. It's just very, very interesting. There's never a boring day.
I met this unbelievable boy, and he was so thrilled that we brought Margaret's Legacy to his classroom because he wasn't able to go home and talk to his parents about his issues. And the issues that Margaret's Legacy brings up to the next generation, we start talking about the Holocaust, but it brings up issues about the next generation, and it's super important that these kids can go to their teachers, because sometimes the teachers are the only people that these kids can go to.
And I mean, sharing your experiences is really important. I often shared about experiences that I had, and I think that when you have that connection with somebody, when you can see somebody in their face and you're like, hey, this happened to me, right? So don't tell me there's no racism in Canada.
When we started French class, which is what she was teaching, she kept on talking about like if anyone needs to come talk to me or anything like that. And there wasn't one other teacher in that school that I felt actually cared enough to say that. Nobody reached out to their students like Madame Bass did, and that's what kind of allowed me to say, okay, maybe I will go try and talk to somebody, because I didn't even feel comfortable with the principal.
There's so many emotional, social issues with children today, and we're hoping that with the curriculum, this will be a springboard for the children to have conversations with their teachers, with their friends, with their parents about what's happening today. And the Holocaust story is sort of the start of what happened a long time ago, but we're trying to relate it more to today. So kids feel open and they're able to share what's happening today in their lives, not just what happened so many years ago.
I wish I would have learned about the Holocaust like this when I was a child. It takes on a holistic approach. It hones in to each kid's skills and talents and values and teaches them and shows them that they have the power to stand up.
It is the students, it is the teachers, it is society. It's going to benefit from all this. And to say that you can tap into various segments of not only terminology and words, but other issues that may arise from this film. It's branched out to help everyone. And to me, I think of Tikkun Olam, to make the world a better place, to help heal the world. It's like a miracle has happened now to the community here, now to the community at large, now internationally. And it's touching so many lives and improving lives, improving understanding, improving dialogue. It's making a statement to make the world a better place.